this, just the modern days and like playing at Skateland West and like that you'd be like, I see you on like all kinds of different groups all the time talking about and help out with and just like the impact that you guys left behind.
No, no, to be honest, we were just it started in White Lake. We were just a bunch of dudes who were like, man, I hope we can kind of like the same outlook I have now. Man, I hope this does well enough that I can just keep doing it. And then like because it's like I don't know what they're because Pat got the band back together and they've done a couple things, but they don't tour. I don't know what their tours looked like when they reunited, but we were getting asked all the time, like, would you guys get back together for this fest? Would you get back together for this tour? And people were acting like it was a big deal, like, oh, it's going to sell out, it's going to do all these numbers. And I'm like, dude, when we broke up, we were playing to like 30 people a night. Like, I quit that band while we were on tour with Rose Funeral and Wretched, and we were playing to 50 to 60 a night on a good night, making $100. And it was like, and then of course I quit, and a week later the band got offered a tour with like the Red Chord and Guar and stuff. Like as soon as I quit, all this stuff starts coming, and it's like that's just the way it works. But no, I thought that stuff would people would it would become a big embarrassment and kind of be laughed out of my past, and it's just an album that just will not go away. So, but I embrace it now. It took me a long time, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's cool that it keeps coming up. Like it reminds me of a very specific time in my life that now I
Yes.
miss. But
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that era, just MySpace deathcore, and we played a lot of shows with you guys actually. You might not even have known, but uh Sean and I were in Our Brother the Butcher,
oh shit, I
was
remember
as
that name.
treacherous as the sea. Yeah, so
Yeah.
um we played, you were on tour with Suffocate and the Red Shore. Um I forgot what the name of that
So I
tour
don't know.
was called.
I don't think I was with them when they toured with the Red Shore, but I did like 3 tours with Suffocate. Um,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
so the first tour I ever went on, the first tour I ever went on, I was 19, and it was with Suffocate. That was we did an 8-day run with Suffocate in 2007 or eight, I think. And then we did like a bunch more with those guys. That was all while Ricky was singer. We hadn't done anything with like the Oakland lineup or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I want to say the one show we played, it was like King Conquer, and Hell Followed With, and
Yeah, that was the tour right after I'd quit, but I think it was right before the record release because I quit. They did a tour with Ryan, who was the guy who came in after me,
oh yeah,
but then they did the
Odell,
record
right?
release shows, and then they had me come back and do those shows because I was the
Okay.
one on the record. So I think I remember that tour because King Conquer was just starting to blow up, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I have to say, like me looking back, I think it was kind of sticker shock when Ryan took over after you left, just because I think you guys were so different in vocal styles.
Yeah,
And
and that was he was actually they had no idea who they were going to ask because unfortunately I kind of sidelined them with quitting. They really didn't know that that was coming. And I suggested Ryan because we had played with his old band Borland a
oh
ton
yeah.
of times, and I was like, dude, you guys should hit up Ryan from Borland. Like, it's a good front man, has a bunch of energy, and they did. But what was funny was they didn't. Ryan hadn't done shows in a long time at that point, I don't think, and
Oh, okay.
they didn't try out. They didn't do anything. They just hit him up. He said yes, and then that was it. It was the first person they got a hold of, and the first person that said yes. And I felt bad because I didn't ask to. I felt like I set him up, which wasn't my intention. But I remember when they started touring with him, people started arguing about like taking like vocalist sides and shit. And I remember being like, dude, it's not that deep. I just don't want to play this kind of music anymore. He does. Like
Yeah.
y'all don't have to go after anybody or compare us like this. So I felt bad, and like, but I feel like that happens. I feel like unfortunately vocalists always kind of warrant that kind of intense discussion versus, you know,
Yeah, the metal
Oh
the
yeah.
elitists start
guitarists.
coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like you said, you're like, you're 18, 20 years old, you know what I mean? It's like life is completely different at that point and what you're, striving to be or do
Well,
or
yeah,
not
we're
do.
you know we're writing a record. I'm 19 when we're writing it. It comes out when I'm 21.
Right.
That like that or like I had just turned 20 when we went in the studio. The record comes out well after I'm 21 years old. So it was like it's a long time for your opinions on stuff to change. And I'm
Oh
like
yeah.
at that point, like my buddy had started a band that sounded like Converge, and I remember being like, "Oh, you mean people like us can actually play that kind of music? Well, then fuck, what am I doing this? I'm gonna do that." So I jumped into that, and that's just what I wanted to do. So I went and found people who wanted to play stuff like that, and I was like, I'm out, guys. So it happens, especially when you're young. I think younger people are a little more prone to throw that stuff away quicker than older people are because when you're young, and if it came, that band getting signed came a little too easy. So I think I threw it away pretty quick, going, the next one will just get signed, and I'll just do it again. And then it doesn't happen as easy that time, and you're like, oh shit. So
Yeah, I never knew back then, at least. I mean, no more so now, just because it's a little easier to find via internet and stuff on the vague, response on why you had moved on and whatnot. But so, like, what type of what happens between you leave and Hell Followed With, and now here you are in Wounded Touch. Time has gone by, right?
yeah.
So,
So in
and
between
you had
that,
already
like I
kind of
said,
had that. You already, like you said, you already had an idea of what you liked, and you wanted to pursue that. So have you been over this period of time building towards Wounded Touch, or was it like
it's just
gap,
always
no
one band.
music?
Well, it's one main. It's I've had like side projects stuff, but it's always kind of been one band to the next. Like after In Hell Followed With, I immediately started a band called Trader, which became Sunlight's Bane, and that would have been like from 2011 up to 2018. Like that was a band for 7 years, and that band really was starting to take off right when we broke up. Um, and that band was a result of trying everything and self booking tours and everything. We burned ourselves out against like just really not getting along, anything like that. Nobody wanted to write the same kind of music over across those years. Because it's like we came into that, and I wanted to sound like something like Prowler in the Yard, Era Pig Destroyer mixed with On Broken Wings, kind of like a really dirty, grindy metalcore.
Yeah.
And the
That
rest of
sounds
the band,
awesome.
yeah, that's what I was hoping to do. And the rest of the guys were really into black metal. All my friends were metal dudes. They weren't interested in trying to rip off Converge and do stuff like that. So it was me pushing hard, them pushing hard, on all of us trying to figure out how to make it work. But then that band started doing stuff and playing festivals and doing tours. Like we did a bunch of really awesome tours right near the end, and then we did a headliner in the UK that like multiple dates sold out on, and then we broke up like shortly after that tour, and
Okay.
then Wounded Touch started like 6 months after that.
Okay.
So
So, and Wounded Touch is you guys are like, it was like this, what, COVID, like pretty much right in the heart of COVID. And
So we started right before it, right? We started right before, played all our first shows in 2019, but they were all local with the exception of we then played in Toronto and Montreal. We did like a weekender in Canada right off rip, and then we played Fest in Gainesville. But we're like, oh, cool, this is going well. Yeah, let's write something. And then lockdown happened, and it was like, so it's almost like that first year didn't matter. That first year was almost like us doing some stuff, and then COVID happened. So by the time we came out of COVID, the only shit people were aware of was the music video we shot for the first single from the record that had Trevor Strnad in it, and then um, the studio session we did with Hate 56. So for a lot of people, that's where it started.
yeah.
Which I don't mind that because the first year was us just kind of getting our feet wet, anyways.
So I have to say, I've always heard, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I heard that you were a big fan of Trevor and like his vocal style, like even like developing for yourself. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, when I bought Unhollowed because I was in ninth grade, and I'm from White Lake. They were from Waterford, right? My
Mm.
buddy's older brother, because we're all 14. His older brother was friends with them, and they all partied together. So we'd heard of them, and then we saw in a magazine on they're signed to Metal Blade. They're putting on a record. So it was like one of those. Oh, you mean like people like us can get signed and blow up, and they blew up. So like to a lot of us in this area, like that was they were and always will be the band. And it was
Right.
like I just thought he was like the cool. I mean, like it matched my literary interests, but it was like I thought he was like the epitome of what you needed. If you wanted to do that, you had to be in some way close to that. And then it changed into its own thing as time went on. Like in Hell Followed With became like a little mixture of other stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like your highs in the like in how followed with stuff remind me of a a similar to like Trevor's,
oh, for sure. I mean, it's like
you know?
deathcore at that point was ripping off
Oh,
two albums. It was trying to mix Unhollowed and with 3750.
yeah,
Right.
Like I
yeah,
feel like that's
yeah.
what deathcore was then. You're like, okay,
That's great.
well, your set's going to start off with either something that sounds like Car Bomb or Unhollowed, and
Right.
then so yeah, they were definitely, and then like so it was crazy to go full circle and then become friends with him, and then how hard he started to push Wounded Touch and be involved with our stuff. So that was a really cool surreal thing. Um, but yeah, it was totally me ripping that off as well as ripping off a band called At the Throne of Judgment, if you remember them
Yes,
at all.
yeah.
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 I saw
So,
them in Toledo at Headliners. I think they played with them. They're sick. Yeah.
oh yeah, they were that was Rise Records Black Dahlia pretty much.
Right. I think and I say like similar to Trevor because I don't want to just completely like discredit your style because I think your style, especially then, was like nobody really was doing highs like you were doing,
Oh, I
and
appreciate
even
that.
though it was
It was me
similar,
ripping.
you know.
It definitely was me trying my best to sound like that. So it's totally not not offensive at all. That's exactly what we were trying to do. To the
No,
point
that's
where when we started, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be at the gates with mosh parts, like Naera and Heaven Shall Burn and stuff like that kind of metalcore with
yeah.
basically Black Dahlia vocals. So by the time we get to the next record that sounds like Whitechapel type deathcore, I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. But it was like, we're on Earache. I'm going to record the record. I'm going to put the record out. But it was shitty on my part as a 19-year-old to be like, I'm going to do this record, but I'm probably not going to stick around after. And then it just started to do stuff, and it was something where I was after. You get that, you start to go, damn, dude, I shouldn't have quit. I should have just asked to take like 2 months off or something.
Yeah, well,
But
hindsight's 2020, right?
it's
I mean,
when you're 19, you get dumped in the middle of a 3 month tour. It's like
yeah, for sure.
it
And
sucks. So tours
And
were
like you
long.
said, to grow like you guys did so quickly, and even though you say like towards the end, it was still like some smaller shows and whatnot, but it's almost like the breakup has helped you guys grow even more.
Yeah,
Like
I. That's why I'm. Nothing against them. I was really bummed when they got the band back together because I liked. That was like my little piece of. I felt like that band was the botch of deathcore, and that people were like, they're never going to get it back together. It's never going to happen. You'll
right,
never see it. Knowing in the back of my head, like, well, maybe someday it will, but I'm just going to keep telling people it's never going to happen.
right.
And then it did, and I'm like, well, now there's no. I still get asked. People are like, you should do something with them. This and that. I'm like, that time's come and gone. Like
Yeah,
it would have been good for a reunion show, but at this point, it's like I got my good last show with them. That was that one at Jamboree, which was
yeah.
the final show. Like, so I'd rather leave it like that than me try to do vocals like that as a man in my later 30s to a few hundred people at best. And like I'd rather just keep that final show memory in my head and put it to
Yeah.
rest.
That was what a great lineup for that jamboree too. Wasn't it like was it Fit for an Autopsy and
Whitechapel, Black Dahlia, Acacia,
yeah.
on Broken Wings. I think Amur.
Oceano maybe, or
Yeah, yep, they played right
yeah,
after us. Um,
that's like that's like
yeah.
every big band in deathcore that you could ever heard of, you know?
Oh yeah, and then like there were a lot of side stage bands that ended up like oh, was it Counterparts? Some band, maybe it wasn't Counterparts. It was a band similar to them, but played like side stage at that too. There was like a bunch of stuff at that. Um, I remember the big reason I agreed to do it was I was like, cool. I get to go out on my terms, but it was On Broken Wings was playing, and they hadn't been an active band at that point in like 6 years, and they were only playing because all of them were going to be there, so they agreed to play it. And I do remember when they played, no one knew them. It was all young kids, and it was like I can remember looking around at like the 5 people moshing, and it's me and older dudes. But I was like, at the time, I was like, we're never going to see On Broken Wings ever again. They're gonna, and then now here they are, like after all
Yeah.
that time
Right.
touring again. But at the time, that was my big highlight. So
That's cool. What a
yeah,
way to go out, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, they were on I think Indianola Records. That label had quite a few good bands. They had like Evergreen Terrace, On Broken
oh,
Wings.
across 5 Aprils. Who else was on Indianola? They had a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I remember getting a sampler and being like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, I miss those. I wish labels would. CDs are so cheap now. I wish these labels would start bringing that back. Like,
Yeah.
like we were on this year's Warp Tour, or technically now 2025, last year, the Warp Tour comp, and they gave us a couple boxes of those. Man, we have a song on it, and I give them away with any item merch we sell, just because I'm like, dude, this is indispensable. Like, this is such an important thing, and I think bands need to start bringing that back. You know what I mean? Like, bring back the shitty burned CDR with your name written in permanent marker, and just like
Yes.
3 songs, like handing them out, being like, dude, listen to this. Like, the amount of bands on tour I remember discovering because of that is so wild.
Yeah, same. Yeah, the two band splits, or or the record labels where you would have, 6 or 7 bands all on the same label, and their, whatever their hot track was.
Yeah, it had like
I
Trust
still I
Kill
still have my
Ferret and
CD
all
book with a
kinds of
bunch of
them.
shit like that in it, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I have your guys on in that book too. I'll have to look back,
Oh
but
yeah. No, I have a sampler that I still have. It came with, I bought Atreyu's The Curse in 2005. I had my mom drive me to Target to buy it, and it came with a sampler CD, a
Yep.
Victory sampler, and it had A Perfect Murder, Darkest Hour, and Martyr AD. And I
yeah.
remember I listened to that as much as The Curse. I remember just playing those 3 songs over
Yeah.
and over again. Like, so,
Yeah, those are all great
Yeah,
bands.
oh yeah.
yeah, Martyr AD. I love that part in the song where like they use like the sound effects from a train track. It's like dun 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 dun, dun, and then they go
Oh
into
yeah.
like a breakdown. I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
They had a bunch of killer samples, like, and like it would be a riff, and then it would be like the sound of the riff rewinding, and it would start over again, and then rewind, like just
Yeah,
on a loop going like, yeah, they had a bunch of dope samples. That's a band I've been stoked to get to see again, because I didn't get to see them back in the day, so seeing them at fests and stuff now is a cool thing.
hell
Yeah,
yeah.
what a big deal with all these bands from previous times coming back and on these big festivals. And
Yeah,
it's not even just like it's across several different genres too, it seems, you know.
yeah.
So
Oh
I think I seen a live video of the Warp Tour, like one of the spots you guys were at, and
yeah.
it was pretty cool. It was kind of like a side stage type setup, and it
So it was
was
a
like
pop-up.
really intimate.
Yeah, it was a pop-up stage in the merch village,
Yeah.
and it was so like we announced the day of, and it was originally going to be like us, and then I think the talk originally was Hawthorne Heights was going to headline it, and then I think they ended up just playing the fest and all kinds of stuff. But it was like, it was sick. I mean, we played in a narrow little alley, and it was packed, and people were going nuts when we played, and a lot of that was just people passing by and going, "What the hell is this?" Because there weren't that many like bands, like there weren't a lot of heavy bands like that playing that weekend, so you could tell there were people who probably heard like something and they're like, what the hell is that? Because it's like this stage on one side, it's like millionaires playing. And then
Right.
over here you have like Machine Gun Kelly playing, and then we were like in this alley playing, and it was sick. Warped Tour was, and what's funny is our friend TJ, like in Still Remains, for example, before we went there, he was like, dude, if you play to 15 people, just know that that's the Warped Tour experience. He's like, we were on Roadrunner playing to 15 people at Warped Tour. He's like, just be stoked that you're playing. So I had no expectations, and he wasn't. He was saying that as like a, hey man, it's gonna be cool no matter what.
Yeah,
Like
that is
that was his
cool.
way to like tell me. He's like, bro, it's gonna be cool. Just don't be affected by how many people are there, good
Right.
or bad. And then so when we played to that many people, I was like, oh shit, this is way cooler than I could have ever anticipated. So yeah,
Hell
that
yeah.
Yeah,
was
and you
sick.
guys are like super high energy. You yourself, super high energy. Yeah, you always have been, but I feel like this band, it's just like I was thinking to myself, like, what could I describe your band in one word? And it's just chaos, dude.
Yeah, I
It's
appreciate that.
yeah, it's killer. And you know, what had like have you always been able to sing the way you are now, like early on, or is this something that you've kind of developed over time and gotten away from like a little bit more of the deathcore type of, just lows and, different things? It seems like
Um,
it would be something you would really have to craft, you know?
I think it's just where my voice ended up.
Yeah, that's
Like it's
cool,
kind of
man,
where I'm at.
because I think I could take previous bands of yours and current band and I could fool people that it was even the same vocalist at all. So I think that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I when we started this band, knowing the era of metalcore we were trying to go for, there still was like the first practice. I remember thinking like that. Okay, what do I want to do with this? Because it was brand new, and I'm like, I this, and I the first EP I was really aping like Joe from Advent and stuff like that, but I had no idea what I was going to do with it. So it took a lot of playing around with stuff, and just it kind of ended up being what it is, just whatever comfortably works. It's I definitely, the older you get, and I don't know if this is how it is for other vocalists, your immune system weakens, everything like that. It is a lot more challenging to maintain your voice and not blow it out. But I think a lot of that comes from the types of shows you're playing too. If you're playing in like a basement on a shitty PA, you're
Right.
fighting to be
Got to
heard.
project.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Right.
blow your voice out. Whereas you're playing on, we've played some huge stages this year, and I'm like, we finished. I'm like, dude, I could do like 10 more shows. Like
That's
you know what I
good.
mean? So it's really the DIY sets are the ones where you're really fighting to be heard, and those are the ones where I technique kind of gets thrown to the wind, and it's really just like, all right, man, just be loud.
Right. I was
So
going to ask you that too, if you had any type of technique that you or, a ritualistic type of
so I've brought it back now. I had one in Helvold with, and then I took care of my voice a lot, but I just didn't talk as much on tour. I kind of would go back to the van. I really wasn't the party dude, so I didn't talk to a lot of people on tour with that band. And then I got really into the idea of, oh fuck technique. It's raw emotion. It can't be duplicated. It can only be captured in the moment. So I kind of abandoned any and all technique in Sunlight's Bane. And this band, I kind of came into it thinking that's what I was going to do, and it really quickly turned to no, dude. You got to practice. You got to like maintain your instrument.
yeah.
So I kind of leaned back into technique and preparation the way I used to. But not right away with this band. That was after like I think after the first record, I was like, all right, I gotta reel it in and have a little more appreciation for my ability to do this. So
I think there's something to what you're saying though about like just that like unfiltered, uncontrolled rage that like you heard a lot more in the early 2000s, like
yeah.
before vocalists like really got into conditioning and
Oh, for sure.
and yeah, you could. It's like something you could feel, like even when listening to bands like Slipknot or Mudvayne or Killswitch. It's just they weren't doing it right, but it sounded right.
Right. You could, well, and then like back then too, when and I know most of them were at that point recording it digital, but like there was still the same mindset where you're still trying to get the best take you can when you can, because you couldn't do a whole phrase and go, hey, that whole take was good, but there's one word here that you
Right.
lost your voice, so we're gonna punch you in. Just do that line, and then you keep going. You couldn't do shit like that, so it was like, dude, I got to get
Right.
this verse. You could go like, okay, we'll do verses at a time, or we'll do something like that, but that was it. And
Oh
like,
man, that era would have hated me as a guitar player. They'd
yeah,
have been like, well, we got to get rid of this guy. He can't get a solid take at all.
it's so surgical now, and it's like I do like that. The more we've been like, okay, we need to dial it in. We're playing these bigger and bigger shows. Um, I do like that. Even while we're doing that, we still don't get too precise. It's still just like, hey man, just leave that fuck up in. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Like that's so
Yeah.
um yeah. But then there's records like the old Norma Jean records. It sounds like the approach that you would have had recording analog, where you're like, dude, just give me the best take of this song you can get.
Yeah.
And so I still like that. I still in the studio I have no technique. In the studio, it's like, dude, I need to capture what I want this to sound like. If I lose my voice after the end of the session, who cares? And then it's finding a way to emulate it live, but
Yeah.
not just
Right.
destroy.
Hurt yourself or
Yeah,
yeah, that's cool. Well, and I think that the style that you guys are in other bands that I can think of that have that similar energy, it's necessary, right?
yeah,
So speaking of that, so I've seen some things as far as bands, and you've named a few, like, so influences behind Wounded Touch. Would you say I seen A Life Once Lost labeled as an influence,
yeah.
which I love that band, and not many people talk about that band.
No, I want a
So I thought
reunion.
that was cool to see it in your guys' list of, and whether that's just an algorithm uh placing, your style amongst those bands, but
Oh no,
you
that's a
name
band that's
Norma
been.
Jean, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Any other big influences on Wounded Touch?
Everybody has their own thing. I think that they bring with, but the ones that across the board the band is influenced by, I feel like we all always come back to Converge, Remembering Never, Norma
Yeah,
Jean, uh, On Broken Wings, and like Misery Signals. I feel like those. That's kind of like, while everybody has their own things, those are the ones that consistently everybody else kind of comes back to across the board.
yeah,
Remember never for sure. Man,
yeah.
I tell everyone like, dude, there still isn't anything as angry as this shit.
No,
Dude,
no,
Angry Pete, man.
dude, bro. Like it's a very surreal thing now. Like it is super sad and fucked up to think that like we played their last show ever,
Really?
because he passed away not long after that. Yeah, we the first year of the first Furnace Fest reunion 2021, we played the pre-show, and it
Okay.
was us, Norma Jean, Cross Five Aprils, Haste, I think one other band, and Remembering Never. And
oh
to
Yeah.
me, that weekend was sick. But to me, Women and Children Die First was such an important, influential record to me. So I
Yeah.
was like, dude, I don't care if we don't see the rest of this weekend. I cannot believe I'm going to get to watch Remembering Never. So we hit it off with those dudes and became friends like immediately. Hung out with them that entire weekend. But we played that show, which was their reunion, and it was an unreal set. And then he passed away like a year, I think, after that. So it's like that was their last show. Who knows? Maybe they'll do some kind of like reunion down the road, but
Yeah.
it's just unreal to have been a part of that. And I watched the video of their set the other day, and it's crazy. I forgot there's a whole middle section where he gave us a whole shout out, was talking about us on stage, and it's crazy to go, dude, we are married to that final show now, unintentionally, just because we lucked our way onto that lineup.
that's so
Like
cool.
Right.
we had no business being on that opening that show, and it was just a gift that it worked out for us. And that'll be something I will cherish forever and never forget, because that was a very important band to me growing up. I
Oh,
remember like
same.
listening to that and going, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to do these kind of vocals and be this angry, but I want to be very intentional with my politics and what I'm saying, and um, so that's a very surreal thing. They are. I can't say enough good things about Remembering Never. We're all pretty into them for
Yeah.
sure.
Hell
That's
yeah.
funny because I did not see that reference at all in anything that I had looked up about you guys, but as soon as you said it, I was like, "Oh yeah, I can
Yeah,
definitely hear it."
the singing parts, they're similar, and like they have these clean vocal parts that are very like post-hardcore-y. Like
Mhm.
they don't come across as like new metal singing or very clean singing. Like it was almost like Hope's Fall as clean parts, but with heavy mosh and
Yeah.
D beat like sections too. I don't know. We whatever you would call their style of metalcore, I think we are definitely all influenced by it because we all grew up in that era listening to those records.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
I got God Saves Us on repeat in my car
Oh
all the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, dude, that's another record that I hope gets its flowers a little more too.
Yeah, I would really like to get that one on vinyl.
Yeah, I think that's the last. Well, there's the record after that too, but I think the reissue stopped at Women and Children. I don't know if they did God Save Us or I can't remember what the one after that is named either, but I don't think those got their reissues yet.
Yeah,
I think I
oh,
still have a shirt from the shirt store in Southland Mall from
Oh,
The Women and
yeah.
Children Die First. It's like a size small.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
It's
never wear it
crazy.
again.
It's crazy how culturally shirt sizes change too. Because I can remember making merch orders in the 2000s, and you had to have youth large. You had to
Right.
have. I can remember carrying youth mediums on tour with it how followed with, and
Yeah.
now it's like, you know, you'll have like a string bean dude walk up and go, "Hey, y'all got 3X," and
right, right.
it's like, no, bro, I got one. Like, so I've had to be better about that just because it's like merch orders change so much based on like even your own demographics. Like we joke all the time, like us at our like we were on tour with a friend's band, and they're like, "Oh, we are definitely like XL and above, and you guys are out here selling XL and below." So
Right.
it was funny to see each band having their own like merch demographic based
Yeah,
on who
that
they
is
play.
wild.
Right, I used to get XLs and they'd be like really tall shirts, and like I get XLs now, and like I'm like struggling to like for my
Put your
ass
hands
not to
up.
pop out.
Yeah, you put your hands up and it pops up. Like,
Yeah.
Oh shit. All right. Oh man, yeah, that's so I wanted to talk about your the latest album, and it says that um you based it conceptually around the 11 stages of grief. Is
no,
that
that's because the what is it? There's only the 5 stages of grief, but it's like no. I think we just said. I think somebody made the statement in an interview, like, "Oh, it's like our 11
okay?
stages." Like being smart is like, "Oh, this for us, this is 11 stages," or like, but no, it has no uh specific unifying story or anything like that. They all touch on like the same type of angst, like familial pressure as in responsibilities as you get older, but in terms of like a story, it doesn't have a narrative or anything like
Yeah.
that.
That's a cool way to write though. I don't feel like that's something you hear too often, just like pressures of adulthood and just being a grown up
Oh yeah,
and
man. Like
social cues and
I feel like some older people are still out here writing music like they're their 20-year-old self, and it's
yeah.
like, bro, I'm in my 30s. I'm not writing songs about like my brotherhood with my friendship and
Right.
being dumped, stuff like that. It's like, man.
Right.
So I don't want to be disingenuine, but I do want to be miserable, sad, and angry.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what does that mean as a guy in his 30s versus when I'm in my 20s? And it's like, all right, well, what am I anxious about now? Well, as an adult and a parent, I'm anxious about, am I a good parent? Can I give my child the tools to get him through his life when I'm gone, or the pressures of just the responsibility for another human being's life and stuff like that. It's just, I feel like it's like, okay, well, I want to write about the same emotions I've always wanted to write about, but the older I get, the more that changes. Like every release this band has done has coincided with a big life event or something. Like our EP, we wrote the lyrics for that one uh, after for I guess that one's kind of like about divorce, but it from different perspectives. Like half the band were children of divorce. Two dudes in the band got divorced, so it's like that entire EP kind of centers around that in a non-literal sense. And then the first record really is a product of being written during lockdown, so that all kind of ties into that. And then this, from that first record to the second record, three of us had become parents. Dylan, our bassist at the time, he's no longer in the band, but when he was, it was like three of us had become parents in that amount of time and gotten married and like changed or moved up in careers. And it's like, all right, dude, my world is so much different on this record than it was the record 3 years earlier. So
Yeah.
what does that look like lyrically? So it definitely shifted and changed. And it's, I'm sure, and then so we're writing some stuff right now, and whether or not it's going to be multiple splits or long form, not sure yet. But it same thing. It's like, all right, well, now there's even different, more varying degrees of misery. Like, so now instead of being as introspective, now it's a lot of looking around and a more influenced by the environment and what's going on in the world, but it's still the same thing. I don't ever want to be disingenuous. I don't want to write about shit that like isn't coming from my own experience. So I have to come to terms with the fact, like, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I work a full-time job. So how do I make this relatable to somebody who doesn't have those responsibilities?
Yeah, for sure. Now, does it intertwine too? Like, do you write also as far as like the band and how the band feeds into that concept as well? Like, just because, like you said, dad, full-time job, a band that's growing, right?
Yeah.
So do
Um,
you include that?
Yeah, I mean, like we've written I feel like I've written at least three songs recently, like from the record and then the release before that about like the pressures of being an artist. Like I've
Hmm.
written at least twice about like I don't want to do this anymore. I give up. Like I just want to like, and it's that because it's its own thing, like the pressures you put on yourself of being a musician and like, um, so that factors in. If in terms of like the writing for the music, those guys, I put in my input like, oh, it should do this or should repeat, but those dudes write the songs. You know what I mean? And it's totally like, oh, this feels like a song about someone dying. I have this set of lyrics, and then but in terms of me going, hey guys, I wrote a song about this, so give me a lot of blast beats or something. It's not like anything like that, at least.
That's cool, man. So, I guess I've never really thought about like the pressures of a specific member in a band, and especially like a growing band like yourself. But could you elaborate a little bit on that, or do you mind as far as like what would you say something big is to where people wouldn't realize as a vocalist for a band at the caliber that Wounded Touch is, to where,
I feel like everybody has their pressures, like, okay, a drummer's got to be physically healthy enough to take care. Their whole body is an instrument, so
right,
you can't break your arm or your leg or get that too physically hurt as a drummer. Guitarist, you can't. You really have to make sure you take care of your hands. You have to make sure you take. Like, um, I've been in bands where it's like, all right, well, we can't do this tour because the guitarist broke their hand, and
right,
we're not getting a fill in last minute. So four other dudes are now shit out of luck. Like, so for me, I have to on tour make sure that I stay quiet and so I can keep my voice.
yeah,
Um, and then the other thing too, luckily these guys have faith in me to let me do it. But there is the thing of like, talking in between songs and having to be conscious and go, pay attention to what you're saying. So you don't say something stupid. So you screw it up for everybody else. I could so
right,
easily slip and say something dumb like
Oh
that I'm
yeah.
not trying to say.
Taken out of context for sure.
Yeah, I could get up there and go, yeah, man, I hope the president dies or some shit, and then it's like now
Right.
all these dudes are gonna be if something comes of that, now all these dudes are gonna be asked about it, and they're gonna be like, dude, I don't know, he said it, like I didn't, it
Was that
wasn't
a
written down, it wasn't
Yeah.
written down, yeah,
was that a Tenacious D reference?
yeah. It's
I think
funny
that
man, is
happened for real.
last summer we played a fest, and I think I said something like my buddy was there, and I said on stage, I was like, man, I'm jealous of the older generations and all the sick ass political assassinations you guys got to live through. Literally, like 3 days later was the thing where somebody shot at him in
Oh no.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
no.
and my buddy, I come back to work and he goes, hope that video of you guys playing that show hasn't gone online yet. 'Cause you
Yeah, you don't realize. Like Sean and I talk about it even on here. Like we're like, well, we're very careful. You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
Because it's just so easy to someone to run with something you say,
yeah,
and it could totally not be what you were saying at all.
yeah.
But yeah,
Like
I
you
could
say,
see that even more so as a vocalist for sure. Like because you're like, you're in between songs is filler. You're
and
keeping the crowd going,
and I gotta,
and
yeah, dude, like, because I'm a political person. The other dudes, we all believe in the same stuff, but like, they're dude, I could definitely say stuff that they'd be like, dude, I wouldn't have gone that far. I wouldn't have said that, like, or I wouldn't have like,
right,
even if I could, I'm sure there's nothing I could say that they wouldn't agree with,
right,
but I could see them say like, dude, I wouldn't have put us in this kind of hot water, and
right,
they totally rely on me being able to like read the room,
right,
and
for
like
sure.
know, like, man, maybe this isn't the show to like go with that kind of energy or something. Like they really have to just trust that I can read the room and know how to represent all of us appropriately because we are five different people. So there's five different people with five different nuances of opinion. Fight like, so it affects it.
Yeah, for sure. That's I definitely can see that, and I feel like you talking about just like other members, like a broken hand, or I remember playing shows and like I think my cousin got cut by a glass at a bar or something, and he's a guitar player with me at the time, and we had to stop halfway through the set. He was bleeding all over the place, and just little things like that that you don't think of. It wasn't even his fault. It was like someone had pushed somebody in the pit and he fell
Yeah.
or something,
Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah, there's big
that
physical
is
aspect.
yeah, and that's cool too. I've never looked at it because I've never been a vocalist as far as in a band or nothing and singing in my car, but to take a song as a whole and go, all right, what does it sound like to me? And
Yeah.
then write according to that. That's a cool take.
I write all the time, so I usually have stuff on deck where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this I wrote something that to me this reminds me of. Um, Titles kind of just come are like the last things that come for me. Um, but I couldn't say if that's the right way to do it or not. That's just the way how it works for me.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but who knows? Who knows? I can't do anything other than be a vocalist. I can't play a single instrument to save my life. So I only know this for sure.
I feel like anybody that knows the music that we all grew up with in our generation, based around, whether it's metal, metalcore, death metal, new metal, uh, screamo, any of those bands, I feel like I've always taken the vocalist and because people will be like, oh, well, how do you listen to that? You can't understand what they're saying. Well, it's because I treat it as an instrument as it is, right?
Right.
So,
No, that's a good way to start. Depending on, I mean, it depends on what you're listening to as well. Because I've heard people say that and like you can't understand what they're saying. I'm like, bro, this is terror. I can hear it.
right. Oh, yeah.
You know what he's saying. Come on,
Yeah.
like give me a break, man. I understand if I'm listening to like a Null Rock or something like that, and you're like, I can't tell what he's. But it's like, come on, man. Like even your layman ear should be able to recognize that there are clear syllables. But yeah, certain bands, it's an instrument. Like, and that was like the first time I heard Converge's No Heroes. I was like, dude, he's fucking pissed off on this record. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't, I don't need to know what he's saying to know that. And, like the moment I heard the first time I heard them was on like, I can't remember if it was like Headbangers Ball or on Fuse or something. Not the first time I'd heard them. The first time I heard the title track off that record, and I remember being like, "Oh, dude, the vocal production on this is so sick. I want to." And I've been chasing that my whole life. There's certain vocal productions I've been chasing my entire adult life, going, "Dude, I want to do that." And there certain records, it's just a moment in time that nobody else will ever be able to recapture.
Yeah, definitely. That's yeah, Converge and Sean and I are big Burnt by the Sun fans. That was kind
Oh
of
yeah,
in that same type of just high energy, like you can just feel that, what the vocalist is portraying in certain songs. It's like, man, you could take it all by itself, you know what I mean?
yep,
And so so where do you see like so here you are, you're in an established band, you're living a full-on life as an adult parent, uh, working class. So how big can Wounded Touch get? Is there a limit? Um,
definitely. I just straight away, yeah. Like there's, unfortunately, what's funny is we've had some bigger people reach out to us with some interest on stuff, right? I won't say anything specifically beyond anything specific like more than that, but and then we start getting asked certain questions, and we're transparent about certain stuff, and it definitely always ends the conversation. Like, hey, would you be open to touring 3 months out of the year? And us being like, no, dude,
right,
like, no, I can't tour. Like, do you know what I earn even at like my blue collar job?
right.
Like,
And that's the thing. I agree with you there.
Yeah,
it's
keep
like,
it
no, dude, I can't
realistic.
live. Yeah, five guys can't
Right,
split $100 a night and that's if every show's good.
right,
That's like you lose one. And it's like, no, dude, I would have to make like for us to do a month tour. It's like I'd have to make more than what I make at work because I have to
right,
justify taking work off. So it's like I would have to make like
hmm,
$8,000 or more myself on a 1 month tour to justify being gone for a month. You know
right,
what I mean? And that goes into the politics of I don't believe bands need a tour like that anymore unless there's a demand. But that's a whole other discussion. But like yeah, at a certain point we will never be able to be like a full-time touring band. We're never and other than that, the only thing that's going to stop us is change. Eventually, people won't give a shit about a metalcore throwback, and we're gonna be back into like people wanting to do youth crew stuff again for that third wave of that. There's gonna be people. I think what's gonna come next is I can't wait, and I can't wait for it. Is when that 2012 like Death Wish sound, hardcore with HM2s, like and like cursed and just I can't wait. That's inevitably going to come. You know what I mean? Like people with the alt right looking haircut, wearing
Yeah,
like wearing all black H&M clothes and black shirt tucked into black jeans and playing trap them sounding like hardcore. Like I can't wait till that comes back around.
yeah.
But um right now it's metalcore, and we're just gonna do it until we can't. And like I think this would be a band where we never like I think we'll definitely be the band where we never break up. It'll just be like, oh man, it's been like a year since we played a show. We haven't
right.
done
We're just
anything.
busy.
Yeah, it'll be something where people be like, you guys broken up? You guys haven't played a show in like 2 or 3 years, and we'll be like, no, dude, we're
Right.
just older. Our kids are in middle school or something. You know what I mean? Like so, it'll
Yeah.
hit that point inevitably, and that's just life, right? We all
Yeah.
die. We all get old. We all so it's like
Yeah.
um, that being said, we can tour, we can do stuff, but we told because we've gotten some offers for some big tours too, and we always tell people like, yeah, dude, we can do it. I can justify to my wife. My wife would support if I was like, hey, we got offered like a tour with Norma Jean.
Right.
Oh, okay. That's a different story than, hey, babe, you mind if I do a self-booked tour that's 3 weeks and
Right.
we headline it, make it 150 a night, like playing in Branton, Missouri, and
Right. Every
right,
Tuesday.
yeah, in the middle of the week, like no, that's um, I know that like that will burn you out quick, and that has a shelf life too. So I guess to the too long didn't read is like we've already exceeded all our expectations. When we did this, all the guys in the band when we started the band had all our main bands had just broken up. So we were just doing this. So when we got signed to Smart Punk, that was like oh shit, that happened quick. And everything kind of followed after that. I had no idea any of this was going to happen. Had no idea we were going to play these festivals, and it has already exceeded any expectation I had coming into this. So at this point, the sky's the limit. To me, success at this point is I want to play in rooms of crowds of people doing gang vocals and just loads like that's success to me. If we play like a room of 100 people, but it's 100 people singing along, dude, that's all that. Then we did it.
Yeah.
Because there's bands that have changed my DNA, right? Like encoded in my core memories that like other people don't remember. Local bands, where it's like those people probably forget that they were even in a band, but to me, it's associated with a core memory that I can never lose, and it's like that will never. That in that way, that person's immortal, right? Or
Right.
until everybody that remembers them dies, I guess. But so that's like a mark of success for me, and that's what I'm always chasing after.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
all.
that's what
That's
it's
all
all
I do.
about, man. I agree with you. And I think there's an advantage to like what you guys are standing for as far as like, hey, we're doing this. We love to do it, but we also have this going on and we have to place it where it all fits, right? And make it work.
Yeah,
And that keeps people wondering and wanting. You know what I mean? If you were
yeah.
playing every single day, it's so easy to become oversaturated, I think, you know?
But you can't. It's this balancing act of like you don't want to oversaturate yourself, but you don't want to be out of the
Right, you know, out of the light too long, right?
too long, right? So it's like it yeah.
There it is.
And
There's one of those things you're singing about. The pressures of,
oh yeah, and then
you know?
that's even without adding in the pressures of content on social media and stuff, and like
Yeah.
having to constantly create stuff so that the you don't fall out of the algorithm's favor.
Yeah.
Um, like almost takes the fun out of it. It's almost something that makes it miserable. So
Now
hopefully,
you do other stuff too, don't you, Nick? Like I want to say I've seen some stuff on your Facebook. Do you do like video editing? And I feel like I've seen some stuff.
yeah, I work in film too.
I
That was
thought
going to
so.
be my main career until it just wasn't lucrative enough. So I didn't become an EMT till I was like 25 years old.
Okay.
I started working for the fire department in my mid 20s, right? Whereas because the film industry had pulled out of Michigan, but that's what I do. I'm like I shoot all our videos, or if I'm not shooting it, I'm editing it. I'm doing all that stuff. So that's that's my first love, right?
Yeah.
So that's my other thing that eats up the other amounts of free time that I have.
Anything cool you want to talk about there as far as what you are doing or working on or
Yeah, gotta work. We just moved into self-financed production on my next film. So working on that. Some people love in today's age, they'll be really open about production as it's happening and constantly sharing updates and stuff. And to me, it's like doing that feels like big things coming posts. You know what I mean?
right?
So I share about it in a small capacity because to me, it doesn't matter until the movie's done. So
Hmm.
it's like I really will promote the hell out of a movie I made or worked on with my production company or other people once it's done. But that's like a 3-year process and a lot of work before you can get there. But I don't like posting about things along the way
Hmm.
because it feels like you're a band that's always it feels like the equivalent of me posting about band practice today, right? And going, hey, what's up, everybody? Wrote a song. It's really like, that's what it feels like. So I'm like, nobody cares until it's done. So I'm not going to talk about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it always feels like. And sometimes, Facebook, it's family and close friends mostly. So it's like, I'll post it on there sometimes, but in terms of really hitting it, I'll hit the ground running once there's a finished product.
that's cool. Well, look forward to it, man. It's I
Yeah.
like I said, I had seen some stuff here and there, and it's been like you said, it's nothing that you're posting about every day, but I have seen some stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. He's doing something completely different that I didn't know he did, you know?
Oh yeah, my last film came out in theaters.
Really?
It's on every streaming platform except for like Netflix and Hulu, but it's on all the other ones. Yeah, came out limited theatrical release. It's everywhere. It's on Blu-ray. Billy Boyd, who played Pippin, he's in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Keir Gilchrist from Atypical and It Follows, he's in it. Which I met him through music because he sings in a couple power violence bands, and he was a big fan of my old band, Sunlight's Bane. So I met him through music, completely unrelated to film, and then we ended up working on something together. But it
That's awesome.
started in music. But yeah, so that was my last one, and I've just been working on shorts from that one to this one, just
What was the
because
title of that one?
it's called An Intrusion.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that
I'm
that one's
interested in
out.
that too. That's cool.
Yeah, so I've done a couple. The one before that is a movie called Wronged. That was picked up by Lionsgate. So that's streaming and a lot of stuff. It's just I should post more about it. You know what I mean? Just because it still also requires a social aspect, but unlike music, where you are trying, it's people are have to be at the shows for it to really matter, right? Like
Right.
it only matters on film once it's done, because until then, it's not like it matters while you're making it. So
Right. That's
it's
cool,
it,
man.
it's a
That's
thing I want to devote more time to, but it's harder because a band is easy. Like in my opinion, it's like you and a couple people write a song and you just go play it.
yeah.
Whereas like you want to make a movie, there's so many elements to it. It's exhausting. So it's yeah, but I am working on one right now, and but I like that's why I like shooting music videos. That's why we have so many music videos. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
is because I'm like, oh well, we need some kind of visual medium, and I've always wanted to do this. So my crew and I will shoot it. So like we do our own merch designs, we shoot our own videos and I edit our videos. We do like a lot of stuff DIY in this band that we don't need to. Like our label would do a lot of this stuff for us. Um, we just we have the ability to, so we're like, let's just do it ourselves.
No, that's cool. I think that's that makes it that much more special, right?
For
And
sure.
yours, and I don't mean yours like we own this. I'm just saying like we, we built this from the ground up, from the music to the visual art to so that's cool. I applaud you there for sure, all you guys involved.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so what's 2026 looking like for you guys? Do you have anything in
We're
the
writing we're writing our asses off right now.
Sick.
Got a couple things planned. Um, that I won't say until they're announced. But um, and then like festival season in the fall is us pitching all that right now. Us and a band that we played with a couple times last year, a bigger band that just kind of got back together. We're talking about trying to like do a tour together, but it's just there are a lot of irons in the fire. But until stuff manifests, it's never real to me until it's real, right?
yeah.
Until I leave to go on that tour, it's not real. So we have a lot of stuff planned, but I would like a lot more. But so we all made it through the holidays, and now we've kind of hit the ground running with our talking to the label, sending out all these emails and everything. So we're just starting to really now put the year together.
Nice.
So
Yeah. Well, as you should. I understand that for sure. Yeah, that's these festivals, man, they've really grown. I feel like I don't remember festivals all the time. I mean, I do remember like, Sounds of the Underground and Ozfest and things like that, but it seems like even more so nowadays. Um,
I think it's a bubble that's going to pop. Personally, I have no anecdotal evidence to prove right that it's just I think the more you can see it, these lineups are having to become more extravagant with more crazy reunions and like album specific sets and things to get people in
right.
because a lot of these fests they have to like hit over almost like they have to a lot of these fests are designed where they have to almost make 90% of their expenses back on pre-orders because they have to be profitable before day of, and it's like so a lot of them it's like a bunch of magicians. It's like in the movie The Prestige. It's like magicians on either side of the street trying to outdo each other to keep
Right.
their base in, and like I feel like it's gonna pop, and I feel because it's getting more expensive that going to a festival for $400 a weekend, like
Right.
just for the tickets alone. I think I think you're going to start seeing a lot more of these younger bands doing what we used to do back in the day, where you're like, dude, I don't care where this happens, but we need a venue. So like VFWs and stuff like that. Like I have a feeling we're heading back to that because it's becoming too difficult to manage for a lot of bands.
Yeah.
The pressure of having to travel for so many fests in a year, and these fests having to create such different lineups so they're not competing with each other.
Yeah.
Like certain fests will always have their demographic, right? Like there are people who are going to go to Tied Down regardless of who plays. There are going to
Mhm.
be people who go to Furnace Fest regardless of who plays because that's their fest. But
Right.
these fests are like, okay, well, we have that. How do we get everybody else? So you have to either be the first to get like so and so to play, or you have to be the only person that gets that. Like you have to be like, hey, if you're reuniting, we're the only fest you're playing, right? And it's like that's got to be so exhausting and difficult to manage. And at a certain point, every band's reunited.
Right.
They've
Right.
all gotten back together, and so it's like I think it's a bubble that's going to pop eventually. I think after COVID, that was like a thing everybody was really thirsty for, and it feels like the well's running a little low.
Yeah.
So,
It would be
but
nice to see those smaller, like you said. I miss especially just because maybe that's my era, is those VFW halls and uh, you know, parties that you play.
yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
can remember. I can remember. I don't even know if this happens anymore. Getting asked on MySpace to play some town you've never heard of, and you get there, and it's the middle of nowhere, and you're like, and then you like. I can remember this fest we in Hellfall with used to play. I think it was in Muskegon. It was called Jared Fest, and it was dude
Oh
named
yeah, I
Jared's
heard of
like
that.
it was just his place in his old man's pole barn, right? But
Right.
everybody in that town, all his normie friends, all his like friends who were into different kinds of metal, they were all just going to be there. And it's like you pull up to some town you've never heard of, and it's filled with people wearing band merch who you've never seen at a show. And you're like, who are these people? Do they ever leave Muskegon? But they knew like
Probably not.
right. And it's like, does that happen anymore? Like, are there like it there were you had these scenes that were almost like islands in the middle of the ocean. Like you have
Yeah.
this whole state, but then you'd have this tiny scene in the middle that doesn't go to any shows other than scenes here. Kind of like Traverse City used to have its own scene back in the day, and you'd go play Traverse City and it was its own thing. Now it's like they everybody in those towns migrates to the big areas, the big markets, and they don't book shows in their own small towns. And I think that that's going to start coming back because at a certain point, people are going to be like, dude, I don't have the money to drive 3 hours to that show
Yeah.
to see this band who's asking for a $60 at door ticket. So
Yeah.
um,
I
but
feel
for the
like even
time being,
Detroit just kind of went that way a little bit. Sean and I are always talking about how Grand Rapids always stealing these big shows, and we're like, what the heck, man? The
it's too
Detroit
much.
was like a staple stop for them,
It's just too much going on. There's
Yep.
like venues get shut down, and then it's like on any given night you're competing with. It's like being in New York in terms of your level of competition, but without New York's populace. You can
Right.
compete with 10 other shows in New York, but there's still millions of people there.
Right.
Out here, it's like, all right, well, there's 10 shows going on tonight in Detroit, and no, one's going to lose out, let alone maybe four are going to lose out. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's I hope that comes back. I hope the small town like shows come back, because that was always so cool. Like I played in a trailer park outside of Portland one time, and it was packed shoulder to shoulder, and it's like, dude, this has to be the only thing going on in this
Yeah.
town
That's
tonight.
dope.
Yeah, some of the most awesome memories I have are playing those type of shows. One memory comes to mind. We played in Olivet, Michigan, at a college dorm, and we played in the basement, which used to be a mortuary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mortuary.
and it was awesome. And after the show, we went upstairs, and it looked like a party out of like American Pie, or
Yeah,
one of those big
Yeah.
budget
Like
Hollywood.
Varsity Blues.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
there was a lot of, I feel like a lot of the shows even in the downriver area kind of have that same sleeper cell vibe, like you're saying,
Mm,
like, a scene, but did anybody else know other than the people that were a part of it, or
yeah.
no, that's cool. I do hope it comes back to that. We just seen 18 Visions back in over the summer, and it was at the Sanctuary, and it was small. Like
Yeah,
it blows my mind because in my head I'm like 18 Visions is the biggest band ever, right? And but it was probably 40 people or something, maybe 50 people, and
yeah. Well,
which
that's
I'm like,
like
great for me because I'm like, I'm right up front.
right. It's like those bands they'll play, like a band who I've seen them play, and they play just as well no matter. I've seen them play to nobody, and I've seen them play to everybody. Is Zayo? I've seen Zayo play to 60 people in Detroit, and then go watch them a month later at Furnace Fest in the shed. People on top of each other can't get close enough to the mic. It's just
Right.
when the show happens, who they're playing with, what's going on that night. So it's a
Yeah, I
crapshoot.
can't imagine. That's got to be just like it's like humbling and amazing all in the same conversation.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy to see 18 Visions. Like, I'd seen them back in the day at like the Take Action tour, and I saw them open. You mentioned Atreyu earlier. We saw them with Atreyu and Chimera, but James was on fire that night. Like, he was hitting all the high pitched screams that he usually can't do live, and Matt and I were just looking at each other like, dude, like this guy's killing it.
Dude, they
Um,
were so good at Furnace Fest 20. I think it was Furnace Fest 23. Um, they were so sick. They still got it.
oh, definitely. What's
Yeah.
his name? Keith Buckley.
Oh,
Uh,
Barney.
Barney. Yeah, he's always had phenomenal riffs and guitar tone. Like
Hmm.
the guy's awesome.
Yeah, those bands they'll hold. It's just like remember me never. You know what I mean? They just hold their place in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you into musically nowadays? If you're picking, I'm gonna say more like a newer band. What are you listening to?
The newer bands I'm into are like a lot of the screamo, lot of bands, and like I really like Croquill from the UK, and a lot of the Ephira bands, as well as like the coming strife, like straight edge bands and stuff like that. Like the metalcore that sounds metalcore. You listen to it and the cover is a statue of an angel. Like
Yeah.
I can just
Right.
go, okay, I know what this artwork's gonna look like. That's what I'm listening to. And then the rest of it is gonna be like goth rock stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, but I'm
That's
totally
cool.
hitting that age where I'm just going back to music from when I was younger. Like
Yeah.
way more than newer music. But that's just what happens.
Yeah.
No, that's
Totally.
I do the same. I'm all over the place, but I have like the staples of that are just in the vault that never leave.
Oh yeah, and then like, there's the newer ones where it's like they're new, but it's like I promised the world, but it's like that's not some underground kept secret. They're huge now. Like they blew up the moment they announced they signed to Rise, but like stuff like that, for sure.
Yeah. And you mentioned straight edge. You're straight edge, right? You've been for quite a long
Yeah,
time, right?
yeah, like over 20 years.
Yeah, congrats
Yeah,
on that, man.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's just now at this point, it's like I don't know who I'd be if I wasn't. It's like I'm, for all I know, I'm over halfway through my life, so it's like what, like
Yeah,
there even if I had a desire to not be, it's like it'd be so weird to not to start drinking in in your
right.
40s, like so something that's like it's just who I am at this point. So there's no, I feel like now it's very difficult to separate from my identity.
No, that's cool, man. I've had like on and off where I've went, a handful of years not drinking and then I'll, socially drink again and I've never, necessarily had like a problem drinking or anything, but I find myself always going back to not. So I've definitely lived that same type of mindset as far as um, after I go for a while and I'm like, all right, so I haven't had a drink in 2 years. What is the point to go out and have a social drink? Let's say, who am I doing it for one, right? And
Right.
so here I am again. I'm back at it again. So uh, living straight edge, I should say,
Yeah,
not drinking. So and
that's
Sean
my
as
wife
well.
right now.
Sean gave
She's,
up drinking too.
Yeah, I fucked
oh
it
really?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna be honest. I fucked it up, but I mean, I made it 2 months.
it's out on the show. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Sean.
yeah. But I do notice like I get a lot more done. I'm a lot more sharp-minded when I'm sober. It's just I drank for so long it's like burned into my chemistry of my body and like it feels like hell fighting it off. But I made it 2 months, so I had a few the other night. So this week I'll try to make it 3 months, and then it's like a vicious cycle where you go again and
That's,
then.
it's like anything. It's like dieting too, it's
Oh
not,
yeah,
you don't have to, certain stuff that people who don't have a problem need to cut out. They're also not eating a bag of Swedish fish a day, you know.
right.
Yeah.
That doesn't, it's like anything. We joke right now that my wife's living the straight edge life because she's pregnant. So right now, her and I are living the same life. So,
That's awesome. My wife as well, man.
oh, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's
Did you
uh
guys announce?
it,
Did you announce that yet, or is that just?
oh, we haven't like done an official like whatever you want to say, a Facebook announcement or anything like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of our family know already.
Oh, nice. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. That'll be it's my fourth child. I have three girls. My oldest is 18. I'm 43, so this is later in life for me, but it's my wife's this is my second marriage. So it's her first child
Oh, okay.
ever.
That's
So
exciting.
yeah, exciting and I'm the last male of my name, so I thought that my name was basically done, at my youngest daughter's. So I have a boy on the way, so it's cool.
Nice,
That's
man. Yeah,
awesome, man.
congrats.
Thanks. Yeah, kids are great, man.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say I'm gonna have to go help the wife here in a little bit. Just that late night stuff, and it's funny going to talking to what we were talking about earlier, navigating that. Hey, babe, I'll be back. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go do an interview for the band. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like that she has the like that she you got to be able to have a partner who has that kind of support that's okay with that stuff because otherwise it could end up being a huge burden on your partners. So that's
for
another
sure.
thing navigating as you get older.
Yep, no, for sure. When is she due?
July.
July. All right,
Yeah.
June. So we're close.
Yeah, no, she's not as far along as to the point where it's like it's definitely a navigation when you're like you feel terrible at all points, and it feels tough to and selfish to not be the one pregnant. It's a
Oh
tough
yeah.
thing to it's a tough thing to you both are involved, but one person has a significant burden that you can't understand, or you can only sympathize with because you can't physically understand what it feels like. So there's a lot of guilt that comes with that type of stuff, and so I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that'll impact my writing too,
Oh
like
yeah.
writing about that. So that's my soapbox. Anybody listening is thinking about having kids, it's like, make sure that you're willing to pick up some kind of extra slack to uh, help with what you otherwise can't help with.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's I'm always like, should be trying to grab the trash. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like, don't touch that. I'll get the trash. You know,
yeah,
she'd be like, well, I want it done now.
yeah. No,
I'm like,
yeah,
all right, you got me there.
that's how it goes.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, shit, man. I think it's a good time probably to let everybody get back to what they're doing here. So,
Yeah, I wanted to take a moment and thank Billy Bob. If you're still out there and listening, he posted a heartwarming comment saying that the show's fantastic and he's been watching our episodes and really likes it, and
oh yeah, thanks a lot, man.
also made a donation. So I very much appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And thanks to people like you, Nick, and the people that take the time to, just get back with us and make time to get on the show no matter what they got going on in their life. And we appreciate it. You know, uh, just talking about music is it's everything to me, and I'm speaking for Sean too. So we really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no, thanks. Can't believe anybody wants to hear me ramble on, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'll be in touch, man. We'll have to reconnect and we'll Wounded Touch updates in the future.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll say there's a whole bunch coming, that the typical big things coming soon thing, but yeah,
Yeah,
there's
that's
there's
perfect.
a bunch of stuff that is queued up to be announced sooner rather than later.
Right on. All right, everybody. Well, Nick, take it easy. Everybody, thanks for joining on the Metal Mitten, and we'll be back next Saturday and the Saturday after that. We're booked up for a while, so come back and
Yeah, it's
watch a
gonna be a
stream.
busy couple months. All
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
right,
Everybody have a
everyone,
happy
have
new
a
year.
great night.
yeah. Happy New Year, guys.
Yep, see you, man.
Bye.
See you guys.
See ya.